everyone, and welcome to episode 130 of the Talk is Cheap show. We've got a great show lined up for you today, as usual. But before we get into it, it's my honour and pleasure to be able to introduce my co-host, show analyst, former professional footballer, social media icon, Mr. Curtis Shaw of Curtis Shaw TV in the house. What are you saying, bro?
Happening, bro?
How you doing, man? I see you got the latest training top on.
No, they drew me in, man. When you go in that store, you're in trouble, man. So, yeah.
No, I like it, though, man. I like it. Yeah, it's nice, man. Nice.
Let's hope we get a team.
Never know, I might cop one myself.
Yeah, why not? Summertime and that.
Yeah, why not? But you know what? A week is a long time, man. And since the last time we met, shout out to Fran, by the way, his first time on Talk is Cheap show. Thanks for all the people who commented. They seem to really like him. So we're going to get Fran back at some stage. And that'll be good. Yeah. But like I was saying, man, 7 days is a long time. And there's been a lot going on in the world since those 7 days. Certain allegations made against certain Premier League player, which we're not going to name for obvious reasons. And of course, in the world of politics,
Boris Khan.
Boris Khan. So yeah, there's a lot going on, man. I'm not going to ask you to comment on politics, but I'm sure you would agree with me that since we last met on this sofa, man, there's been a lot going on. Yeah. And of course, on the sporting tip, the Women's Euros have started.
Yeah.
First game took place. England, the hosts, a 1-0 victory against Austria. So they got off to a winning start, courtesy of a goal by Beth Mead. 1-0 win. Wasn't the greatest performance, but was a great occasion. I think it was 68,000 plus fans at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
You excited about the Women's Euros?
I think the women's game.
You haven't got to be politically correct. Just tell the people what you know.
No, listen, I think the women's game is growing massively in this country now, and I think if England could win a major tournament, it would, really lift it in this country. And listen, I'm going to be honest, I won't be watching every game. I don't tend to watch it until maybe the latter stages of it. But listen, I hope England can do well. It'd be great if they could win it as hosts as well. So best of luck to them. Yeah,
I mean, I believe England are second favourites after Spain. But there are some good teams. Spain, England, France, Germany and Holland, who won it the last time out. And incidentally, Holland, when they won it, were managed by Serena Whiteman, who is, of course, the English coach now. So, I mean, listen, man, I'm a bit like you. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert about women's football. I will watch the games. I didn't watch all the game last night, but I did see some of it and I saw the goal. And obviously, we're pleased that they got the win. So, yeah, onwards and upwards, man. Hope it goes well. Right, okay then. Moving on. Obviously, not much football to really talk about. But there is transfer speculation and activity going on. And of course, we know now that Gabriel is now an Arsenal player. That's confirmed. So he joins, Fabio Vieira, Matt Turner, Marquinhos, as part of the 83 million is spent so far. Yeah. Now that Gabriel is confirmed, what's your thoughts? Gabriel Jesus, that is.
There you go. You got there in the end. No more Jesus. Yeah. No, I think it's a good signing. It's like the worst kept secret in football, isn't it? I got to be honest. We waited like a week for the announcement. I was thinking this announcement's going to be unbelievable. And it was pretty straightforward. I'm thinking media guys probably made that in 10 minutes. But listen, it was good to see him finally announced, wearing the shirt, done the usual interviews and so on and so forth. And I think he's got a point to prove. I'm excited. I think it's a good signing. As we keep saying, I think it's about what you put around him now as to how good a signing he will be. So, listen, good to see him. He was talking about he wants to score goals, wants to play through the middle. He's got the number 9 shirt. So, good luck to him. And I think it's a very good signing at 45 million. Yeah,
definitely. I would agree with you. I would also agree with you about Arsenal. They're not the most PR savvy, aren't it? I mean, I was expecting a sort of a video of some significance with Jesus scoring a lot of goals and,
it was kind of made one. It's
samba dancing.
Eddie on the phone. And he calls and maybe Jesus
something a bit more elaborate, something a bit more creative.
Yeah, it was very straightforward.
Yeah, it was a little bit underwhelming. Yeah. I hope the signing's not underwhelming.
No, definitely. I hope not.
But yeah, Arsenal don't tend to really go for the old, whole big thing. Bit like what they do in Spain. Have you seen that in Spain when they have the signings? You get the crowd get let in and they do the keepy uppies on the pitch and stuff like that. I'd quite like to see that here.
Maybe they saw Pogba with Stormzy and thought, you know what? Didn't work out too well. That was a great announcement, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe that was a portent of things to come.
Yeah.
More style over substance. But listen, man, Gabriel, I'm excited about that signing. I think he's going to do really well.
Yeah.
And I think hats off to Edu and Arteta and everybody else who finally got the deal through the door. But we do need more, man.
100%.
And that kind of brings me on to my next point, which is who do you think we need now to really give us a chance of doing well next season? I mean, we do know that Arsenal have said quite unequivocally that they are in the market for new players. But it would appear, I mean, they've spent 83 million already. They're going to be looking to spend more. So it would follow that they're going to need to offload some of the current lot in order to fund any newcomers. And so far we know that there's 7 players that Arsenal have officially made available for transfer. And if I go through those, I've got the list here. Hector Bellerin, Bernd Leno, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Pablo Mari, Reece Nelson, Nicolas Pepe, and Lucas Torreira. So that's all 7 good players, let's be honest. They're good players. Some better than others, but good players. And Arsenal will be looking to offload these guys. But at the time of filming, there's only one of those 7, which is Bernd Leno, that's been linked with a club. So what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, there's a lot of money there that's been spent badly, or players where we could have probably sold them when they had more value. You look at Ainsley, £20 million offer. I'd be surprised if all 7 of them got sold in this window.
I'd be extremely surprised.
We're already in July. You've probably got 6.5 weeks to sell all of them. I think Torreira will definitely go. He doesn't want to be in England.
Yeah, but go where though?
Well, I think one of these Italian clubs might take him. He had a good season. It might be a case of loaning him out again. We struggle to sell these guys. You know, I think Bellerin wants to go back to Real Betis, but they can't afford his wages. He's got 100,000 a week wages. He actually wore the captain's armband at the week against Ipswich, which everybody was panicking, you know.
Knowing him, he was probably fighting.
Obviously, Pepe, they've got a lot of work to do, you know, and I think the problem is when you're trying to sell a player that's out of form on big wages, you're not going to have people banging on your door to make that deal happen, you know. Pepe cost 72 million. At the
Have
most,
we even paid it yet?
Well, probably haven't even paid it. At the most, you'll probably get a loan for him, you know. Someone might say, I'll take him on loan and maybe we have an option to buy him next year, so...
I must say, on the Pepe, I find it hard to believe that no club or no one serious has come forward. I did actually think, I mean, that somebody out there would have sort of...
I reckon there will be interest. You don't always hear about it straight away. I reckon there are probably a couple of clubs in Spain, France that would say, we'll take him on loan, but until an offer's made...
Let me ask you a question about Pepe, and this is a serious question now. There's no cap. Do you think that Arsenal were somewhat guilty of devaluing the player in the way they treated him last season?
Yeah.
Because I must admit, I can't help but think that. I think that the times when he was just, you know what I mean, abandoned seemingly on the bench there. Yeah. And when he did come on, it's very fleeting. And it just seemed obvious that the manager just didn't rate the guy, didn't seem to want to have nothing to do with him. Yeah. So is it any wonder now that you're struggling to offload someone like that? Because he's not had next to no game time. When he did, let's be honest, he didn't really perform, so he's got to take responsibility for that as well. Yeah. But just the whole atmosphere, the ambience, the whole sort of vibe around Pepe was on a very negative tip for pretty much the whole season.
I think Arteta's made it clear to everyone that he doesn't favour Pepe, and I just think there was a lot of games last season where, you know, you're doing watch-alongs and you're thinking we need something else, and you're thinking bring him on, he's got something to change a game, and it's almost as if Arteta doesn't trust him. Because we've seen on the flip side, there's been games where he's given the ball away cheaply and stuff like that. But I still think he could have got a little bit more out of him. You know, even if you used him as an impact substitute and to try and help you get a goal and stuff. But like you said, what's he worth now on the market? And I think once a club can see that you don't want him and you're not playing him, they're going to offer you even less than he's worth. So I think you'd be lucky to even get 20 million for Pepe if you were to sell him. You'd be lucky to get that.
And like I said, I don't want to belabor the point, but I mean, previous situations with other players, I've heard managers say, "Oh, listen, such and such, he's a great player, very good player, just didn't fit into my plans." Yeah. But with Arteta, there's been none of that. In fact, he's been publicly critical of Pepe a few times. And you just think to yourself, well, you've kind of done yourself in a little bit there, because now you're in a situation where you, to all intents and purposes, you want him out of the club. But you can't get rid of him because his stock value is so low that no one's going to take him for any decent amount of money. So it's kind of backfired, really, hasn't it?
You'd have thought that the Kroenkes would have been like, listen, Mikel, can we have a word? Paid 72 million for this guy. I realise you don't really want him, but you need to keep him so that other clubs looking at him see enough of him to think, you know what, maybe we'll take a chance on him.
It's business,
He's played so little. I think a lot of clubs will go, we'll leave it. There's got to be something wrong with why Arteta doesn't play him at all. So, yeah, I think his value is at rock bottom at the moment, but I think he will probably leave.
I think he'll leave. I hope he... Because, listen, I've been on record in the past, and I'll say continually, I think he's a very good player. It didn't work out for him at Arsenal. That much is clear. However, that doesn't mean to say he's not a good player. The other one on the list that kind of leaps out the page at me is Bernd Leno. Now, we did say he's linked with Fulham. I'm going to say this again. I'm a little bit surprised that more clubs haven't come.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Because to me, Bernd Leno is a quality keeper.
I think he's a good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
To be honest, I would have liked to have kept him.
Yeah.
But obviously, with Turner coming in, you're not going to keep 3 goalkeepers of that level.
Plus, to be fair to Leno, he's ambitious, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's not going to want to... A guy of that quality is not going to want to be on the bench. Goalkeepers, when they're on the bench, is a slightly different dynamic from outfield players.
You're not
coming
on the pitch.
Basically, just put that long coat, zip it up, man, and just watch the clock, because you're not coming on. But hey.
Yeah, I think he's good enough to be number 1 somewhere else. And like you said, I think he could play higher than Fulham.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. I mean, okay, it's a Premier League club, but, you know, I was kind of expecting a
mid-table team.
Yeah, at least. Or some offers from abroad. Maybe they have been, we just don't know about it. But, anyone else on that list that you think in there could fetch a few bob at Arsenal? Or any that you would keep and say, I know you referenced Ainsley.
Yeah, I mean...
What about Reece Nelson?
Nah, not for me.
No.
Like, listen, Reece, I don't think he's ever lived up to the hype. He come out the under-23s as a potential star. I remember people saying he was better than Sancho at youth level. Listen,
there were people who know a lot more about football than me was telling me to watch out for this guy.
Yeah.
He's going to be the next big thing. I think it's fair to say that does not happen.
No.
And we've got to be honest and say his career trajectory has been slightly disappointing. Yeah. Although we do know that he did decent, didn't he, when he was on loan?
Yeah, he did all right in Holland, yeah. I think Nelson will get moved on. Ainsley, for me, is interesting because I look at Arsenal's squad this year. You can make 5 subs, you've got a World Cup, and you're in Europa League. He's an ideal squad player. Can play right back, wing back, centre mid. So he would be perfect for that. I just think the problem, him and Arteta don't seem to have a great relationship. You know, when a player's publicly going on Instagram saying, just let me leave, you know, then clearly there's a problem. And, you know, it sounds like Mourinho wasn't overly impressed with him at Roma. They don't want to buy him, but he's got a year left. So I would imagine Arsenal will be trying to sell him because they won't want his contract to run down and he walks. So
I would imagine somebody like Ainsley Maitland-Niles, and let's be honest, he is a decent player. Sometimes his mental state has been questioned in terms of his concentration levels and stuff like that. And there's been some other talk about maybe his dedication to the game isn't always as it should be. I'm not going to, over speculate on that because I don't know. I'm just saying what I've heard. But I would imagine if you're, say, for example, one of the newly promoted clubs, and you come up, somebody like Ainsley Maitland-Niles might be the type of guy that could do a job for you.
I think Forest will link with him, actually. Yeah. He would be a very good signing for a team like that. And I don't think you'd have to pay a huge amount for him either. So, I would imagine there will be a few clubs who would take him. I think it's a bit of a shame because I always thought he had a lot of potential.
Oh, definitely.
But he's never really established himself. Are you a right back? Are you a centre midfielder? what is your best position? You know, it's like you can play in a number of positions.
It's almost that's been to his detriment a little bit, hasn't it?
So.
Because
I think so.
He's been kind of caught up in what am I, a defender or a midfielder?
Yeah.
He's been on the record in the past, something that he's, gone on record to say, look, that's not what I meant.
Yeah.
When he's talking about defensive versus midfielder, he wants to play. That's his preference, which is fine. He's expressed a preference. But it was kind of being interpreted as
he doesn't want to play
anywhere else apart from there, which is, to be fair to him, he's gone on the record of saying that is not the case. But he's also been a victim of his versatility in many ways. But I would say, listen, I'm surprised that no one's come in for him, because I see a guy. Okay, take away the top 6 then. I think a guy like Ainsley can play in any of those teams beneath that level. Do you?
Well, he can at least be a squad player, that's for sure. And he's played for England. I think he's about 24, which is still a good age. You have to have so many like English players in your squad now. So I think he'll have a few clubs after him.
For sure.
But like I said, out of that list, I don't imagine all 7 of those will be sold in 6 weeks, especially the way Arsenal do business. So it wouldn't surprise me if 1 or 2 of them are still at Arsenal by the time the window shuts.
And of course, there's one name on this list that we haven't mentioned. Have you done that studiously or what?
Your best mate.
No. We mentioned him.
Oh, we've mentioned him.
Yeah, we've not said anything about Pablo Mari.
Oh, Pablo Mari.
Is that intuitive or what?
Well,
does that mean that that's where he is? We're not even talking about
the forgotten man, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, listen, when he first when he first started playing, he was getting a lot of plaudits. People, even then, they were saying, listen, he's not blessed with the greatest amount of athleticism or pace, but that he reads the game well.
Yeah.
And he'd had a couple of decent games, and people saying, you know what, he looks like a good player.
Yeah.
But fast forward till now, he's become the forgotten man at Arsenal, really, isn't he?
Yeah, there was a few signings early on in Arteta's reign. He's one of them where you just kind of think, he's not quite good enough. He's not a bad player, he's a steady centre-back, but I just think the Prem is too quick for him. I remember we played Man City away, and he looked like, I said, boy, I know he's not quick. You know what I mean?
He was in reverse.
Yeah, he looked like he had a caravan on his back. It was Per Mertesacker reborn. But Mertesacker actually read the game very well.
Yeah.
Listen, for me, Pablo Mari, you got to sell him. But he's on 70-odd grand a week. He went on loan to Udinese. I think he did all right, but they're saying we can't afford the wages.
Yeah,
so
that's the thing.
It's a problem. You give big wages to
that's the problem with a
players.
lot of clubs like Arsenal. You bring these guys on these inflated wages. They don't quite make it at Arsenal, and then that presents a problem when you're trying to offload them.
Yeah.
Because they're on these contracts for big money, and to be fair to the player, why would they go anywhere for next to nothing when, you know what I mean?
Yeah, when they're on a fortune.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But like we said, they need to offload some of those players to fund guys coming in. And talking of guys coming in, we are being linked with a few players. Let's talk about him, because we spoke about him last week. And I'm seeing this week where they're saying that there's renewed interest. Tielemans. Currently of Leicester, but been linked with Arsenal now since the end of last season. We're hearing, or I'm hearing, I'm sure you heard the same thing, that now Arsenal are looking to up the ante a little bit and offer 30 million, and they're warding off people like Manchester United. What's your thoughts there? To me, I think we really need to get this done. I'm just going to say this here and now. What's your thoughts?
I think midfield is the position we need to address probably more than any other. And if he's available for that price, you think, why have we not made the offer? I just get the impression that Arsenal are looking at somebody else ahead of him, and that's why they haven't made the offer yet. I kind of think they've looked at it and thought, the deal's there to be done. Let's just put it on the back burner for a little bit and see what else is out there, which is a very risky tactic to have. I was going to say, it only takes somebody to say, you know what, we'll have him, we'll pay the money, the deal's done.
Well, Man United.
Yeah, because they're saying if they don't get De Jong, that they might go for Tielemans. So we need to be careful. For me, 30 million, get the deal done. Stop messing about. He's an upgrade on what we've got. He's good on the ball. He's played in the Prem. It's a price that I think is good value in this market. Get the deal done. I don't know what they're waiting for, to be honest.
I
really
genuinely can't understand what's going on there. I mean, especially in the light of what we're hearing now, that they're going back in. Like I said, we've been linked with this guy since the end of the season, in May. Now, come on now, we're in July, heading into August soon, in a few weeks' time. So come on, man, let's get this done, bro.
Yeah. I mean,
to me, he should be on the pre-season tour.
He should be. And do you know what? There's reports that we've even agreed terms with him.
Yeah.
So, and apparently wants to come. He nearly actually signed for us when Arsene Wenger was in charge. I think he was a young player. He didn't think he'd get in the team back then. But obviously, he probably would now. So
listen, to me, he makes a lot of sense. He's Premier League battle ready, battle tested. He's a goal-scoring midfielder. He's got the size. He's got the physicality, you know what I mean? He's got the mentality. Okay, some people said that there was an accusation they made of down tools at Leicester.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not going to speculate as to that. I didn't see that, to be honest. It could have been a player that had maybe reached the end of his natural life at a club. These things happen. It doesn't mean to say that the player has down tools. There could have been all sorts of different circumstances that led to him not having his best season. But what we do know is that this guy is a quality player. He's a Belgian international. He's done it in the Premiership. He's still young enough.
Yeah.
Get it done, man. I mean, listen, unless you're going to bring in somebody that's clearly better, which I don't see right now.
No, it's not. It's not an easy market. I mean,
not.
They've been linked with this Milinkovic-Savic.
I was going to ask you about him.
Yeah.
So that leads nicely. Yeah. What's your thoughts on that one?
I mean,
is he gettable though?
I mean, I think I don't see it happening because of the price. You know, Lazio apparently wants 60, 70 million. It ain't no little, Klarna business. They're saying,
and we don't know how he's going to fit in.
Yeah.
And then you got a guy, I don't know.
I mean, what I will say, he had a very good season in Italy, probably his best season. He got 11 goals, 11 assists, which is big numbers for a centre midfielder. A few years ago, people were saying he was going to be a world beater, and he kind of fell off the radar. And now Lazio are kind of saying, well, if someone gives us this money, we'll sell him. But, I mean, I just don't see Arsenal going and laying 60, 70 million down on him. I can't see it. He is a good player. Listen, if Arsenal signed him, I wouldn't be against it. He's a big unit. He can pass. He can shoot. You just don't know sometimes how players are going to come from Syria and deal with the Premier League. It's a lot quicker.
That is the risk you take.
And you're paying big money for it as well.
I mean,
which makes Tielemans look even
I was about
more.
to say, half the price.
Half the price, played in the Prem.
Belgian international. You know what I mean? He's proven himself in the Premier League. To me, it's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer, yeah.
But listen, I like the sound of this guy, Savage. I'm not going to lie and say I've seen a whole lot of him play. But people who know a lot about the game say, yeah, this guy's the real deal. So if they could get him, then fair enough. But then, like you said, 60 mil. Really?
You've got to at least get one of them. Don't leave Tielemans to go and get Milinkovic. You don't get him, you come back and Tielemans has gone. That's the problem. Make sure at least one of them is at the end.
You know what they need to do? That 30 million, put a pound on top. 30 million plus a pound, that means
that'll sort it out. That pound, man, I'm telling you, that's the pound, difference. Do you know what I mean?
Every pound matters. You know what I mean? Okay, that's that. Let's talk about Lisandro Martinez. There's been a lot of speculation about him the last couple of weeks. Yeah. Again, enough speculation, but no tangible reality in terms of is he going to come or not. So I guess I've got to ask you, do you think this will happen, or is it just...
I got to be honest, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think he'll end up at United. I think, because
he used to play...
He played with Ten Hag, and I just think... If you look at their back four and ours, I mean, people saying he can play left back. We only played one game at left back last year. All of his appearances were pretty much at centre back. I just don't see how he gets in the Arsenal team at centre back as a left sided. Is he better than Gabriel? I don't know. Do we need to buy a £40 million centre back to push Gabriel? I think if he goes to Man United, he gets in that back four ahead of Maguire, plays with Varane. Knows their manager, they've got money. I think he goes to them ahead of us. Not because they're better than us, because the circumstances.
You don't need to explain.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean? I don't want
I know
people,
you're getting
I don't want people
I know what you're
doing. Are you making, you know what I mean? So, but you know what I'm saying, innit? Like,
I think you've explained yourself very well. He's not saying that they are a better club per se. It's just that you've got to look at it from Martinez's point of view. The fact, like you said, he played with Ten Hag before. United are this massive club. They're going through a rebuilding phase. There's clear and present opportunities for him to go straight into the team You know, I mean, let's be honest, Arsenal do have a better defence than Man United right now. So, you know, there's going to be less people competing for that number one spot, which you would probably get. So, but then again, we do need to bolster our team as well. So,
listen, if we got him, he's a good addition. He can play in a variety of positions, but I think with Saliba coming back, you've got Ben White, you've got Gabriel. I would like another centre-back, but is he going to come to Arsenal and be told, you've got to fight to get in the team, when I think Man United will be saying, you go straight in, you know, and he knows their manager.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah, it does.
Asensio, that's a bit on-off. Well, you were linked previously. Now it's come back.
I'm not overly keen on that. You know, if we'd have had this conversation 2 years ago, he was one of the, like, you know, they said, players, one of the young wingers. Everyone was like, this guy's going to be a star. Had a massive knee injury and hasn't quite looked the same player since. And I always say Madrid don't just throw players away, especially when they're Spanish players. Spanish international, you know, winger, and they're just saying, let him go. Well, there's a problem then. You know, I'm not saying, I still think he's talented. I just, with that knee injury coming to the Prem, I'm just not sure about it, you know. If they signed him, you know, I'd support him. He's talented, but I'm not sure. I do think we probably do need a winger, though.
Well, especially if Pepe is not playing much again. But I saw that rumour and I'm a little bit, I need to see more happening on that front. I'm not sure if that one's really serious, but hey, we'll stay across it. But of those names that we've just mentioned, I think the most realistic one is to get the Tielemans one sorted, isn't it?
Yeah, I would like that to be the next sign.
Makes sense, man.
Because that engine room, I'm telling you, that midfield in the Prem is everything. And I felt for a long time. The funny thing was, I remember when we had Cazorla, I always thought we need somebody physical next to him, like Partey, what he is. And then now we've got him, we need the Cazorla who gets on the ball and make. We've always seemed to have one or the other. We need that combination of the two. So get Tielemans done, and it's right there. Just get the signings done before the season starts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ideally, so,
absolutely.
Hopefully
we'll see how that one goes. And like you said, get it done before the season starts, which kind of segues nicely into what I wanted to talk about now. So we know that Arsenal have last week reported back for pre-season training. We know they got a tour of Germany coming up. What would you like to... Actually, let me start by saying, because obviously you've been a pro, obviously not in the Premier League area with the Premier League clubs, but the principles are the same. So in terms of the guys coming back, will they be excited? How fit will they be? Raring to go? What are they looking to achieve in the pre-season? Apart from the obvious, just getting fit, but you know.
I'm sure these guys, their fitness levels are very high. I'm sure they don't go on holiday and just let themselves go too much. You see a lot of them training while they're on holiday anyway. Pre-season for me, like when I was younger, you know, that natural fitness could count. I didn't really do much training to stay fit. As you get older, you had to do a little bit more to make sure you
keep your weight down as well.
Yeah, so it was harder work, and especially in the English heat as well, is hard. But I think for them it would just be preparation, get your confidence up. If you're a striker, you want to bag goals, defenders, clean sheets, get your match fitness up. It's funny because pre-season can lead you the wrong way sometimes. We've seen pre-seasons where Arsenal they're beating, you know, big teams, PSG, and you think we're gonna, and then you go into the season, you drop points, you know. So sometimes you don't know, but you just want to win games, get your fitness up, and listen, we've got some good fixtures in pre-season, a couple of tours as well, and I think it's more to integrate your new signings.
Yeah, assimilate the new guys.
Good to see Jesus gone straight to Germany with the players, and he's taking pictures and having a laugh with the players. I think that settling in period is important when you've just moved clubs. So, more for that really.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what happens in pre-season, because you like to see how the guys are gelling. You know what I mean? You're looking for signs of positivity. The results are not overly important, but you are looking for any like eye-catching performances. You know, stories of people performing well, because it does provide a nice sort of feeling going into the season. And they've got the tour of Germany, and then the USA, which I understand you might be heading out to.
Yeah, mate. Hopefully get.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, nice little break.
Bring your boots, man. You might get a game.
Listen, I'm trying, man. I'll be there with the shin pads. No, but no, looking forward to it. And
so we're at that USA leg of the tour.
I think it's all. They go Baltimore first
Right.
to play Everton, and then they go to Orlando. They play in Orlando, and then they play in Chelsea in the second game. So yeah, it should be good, and hopefully we'll see some more signings by the time the US trip. Obviously they're playing Germany this week, so yeah, looking forward to it. And
must be quite an exciting time of the season, really, isn't it, for a footballer?
Yeah, I think you're rearing to go. You're thinking new season, it's new hope, and it's a World Cup year as well. I'm sure for these players who obviously have qualified, it's an exciting year. Have a good season with my club, go to the World Cup. Hopefully do well, come back and finish the season. They'll be buzzing for this season, and we've got a young squad. You hope they've learnt from the last couple of years, and that experience can carry them forward this year. So I think it is exciting for Arsenal moving forward, especially if he can get 2 or 3 more good signings in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Through the door.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you think the manager's approach will be? What do you think what the things he'll be looking for?
Yeah, I mean,
apart from the obvious,
the obvious things, fitness and that, but he'll be looking for ways of playing. How can I set this team up? How do I fit Jesus in? How's he going to get on with the attack, and how do we need to get the best out of him? So, some managers, I remember certain managers have said, I'm not that bothered about the result in pre-season. They've just said, I want to see the style of football.
Working on, style of football, formations. Yeah. Maybe even conversations around captaincy, vice captaincy, leadership group, stuff like that. Sort of long-term planning.
It'll be interesting who the captain's going to be. I think people are expecting Odegaard probably to get the.
What is your thoughts on that, bro? I mean, I must admit, I'm going to keep it 100. I'm not listen, don't get me wrong, very talented player, important member of the team. He does captain Norway. So listen, we know that he's got leadership in him. That's beyond question. However, is he the best captain for Arsenal? I'm not so sure. I'm just going to keep it 100.
I don't know if I'm a bit old school with it, but he seems too nice to be the captain. And I'm not saying that's always a bad thing, because sometimes you can be a calm character who kind of leads with their play rather than, how vocal they are. But he just doesn't strike me as a captain in the Premier League. I think the likes of Tierney, Gabriel, those guys have got more leadership qualities, in my opinion.
See, when you talk about leadership, I tend to sort of think that they've come into 2 categories. They're the guys that are very vocal. Yeah. Like you said, the rabble-rousers, the let's get stuck-ins and the shouting instructions. And they're very demonstrative. You look at the team, you can tell straight away who's the captain. Yeah. Then you get your other types of captains, people like De Bruyne, even people like that. Even Aubameyang, when he was at the club, that they kind of lead by example or lead by their performances on the pitch. I'm not sure whether Odegaard falls into either of those categories for me. On his best day, he could fall into the latter category of leading by example. But how many days like that does he really have? And we're being realistic. Don't get me wrong, he's a good player. And like I said, a highly valued player at Arsenal. But in terms of leadership for a young team like this, I'm not so sure. I think there are better choices that could be made. Tierney, if he's fit. Even your boy Xhaka, I think, is...
My boy Xhaka? Maybe Bellerin will be back.
Whoa.
Maybe Hecky
No comment. No comment on that. But yeah, I think they might, look around.
And see better.
That being said, I don't see Gabriel Jesus getting it.
No, I don't think he'll be... I don't think he's that player.
I don't know, man. I think maybe they need to cast that net a bit wider.
Yeah. Or maybe they need to sign somebody.
Or maybe there's no obvious candidates.
I have to admit, I've always kind of liked Gabriel.
Yeah, I must admit, I like Gabriel.
Listen, Tierney, I think, would be the captain if he played enough. He's injured a lot, so I think that's gone against him. Yeah,
I think the first criteria of a captain is that you should be able to hold down your place. Although, having said that, Jordan Henderson is very... established captain of Liverpool, but he doesn't always establish himself as the first team.
A lot of players talk about Henderson. They say he's a massive leader. Yeah, he's a really good leader in the.
But he's not an automatic first choice for Liverpool.
No. But then he has been. he's been quite consistent for Liverpool the last few years.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, listen, maybe somebody will grow into a captain at Arsenal over the next year or two.
I don't think we got any like obvious Jordan Hendersons.
No, we don't. I think that they need to lead as almost a group. Yeah. They need to grow together and become leaders in their own right. They always say you don't need the armband to be a leader.
That's true.
So, Gabriel, Tierney, these guys can become captains in their own right. So that's what we need.
So I guess when you look at it like that, then I guess Odegaard is a contender.
He's gonna get it, I think.
Yeah.
I think he is gonna get it. So I'm not sure if nowadays the armband is as kind of, back in the day it was like Sol Campbell, or Patrick Vieira, Tony Adams. I don't think those characters are so much around.
Yeah, they're not as prevalent in the game as they once was. But but nevertheless, it's an interesting topic. Right, okay, my man, we're coming to the end now. I've enjoyed our little conversation. Things are shaping up, and the fact that they're on pre-season tour, you get that sense now where things are starting to...
Football's coming back.
Yeah, it's kicking in again, man. You know what I mean? So, I'm looking forward to what happens, and I'm not going to be around next week. But listen, man.
Yeah, happy birthday for you for next week. So.
21 again, man.
21 again. 21
times
plus
3.
a pound. Yeah.
Plus a pound, yeah. Plus a few pounds. But hey, man, it's all good, bro. And like I said, you'll be going into that tour, won't you?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, have a great time. And it's all kicking off, for want of a better word. Yeah. And thanks for coming in.
No problem.
Thank you guys for supporting the show. Keep it interactive, keep the comments coming through, and we'll see you very soon.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.